Alright, most advice about building systems is either too vague or too overwhelming, and this video is for people just like me. You're running a business, things are chaotic, and you just want to learn just enough about systems to free up your time. In this video, we'll follow a simple 1, 2, 3 learning path. First, we'll start with how systems work, what they are, and how and why you need them in your business. Then we'll move on to covering documented systems to actually make them useful, and all the while using examples from real businesses, not just theoretical frameworks, so you can systemize any part of your business in 30 minutes or less. And believe me when I tell you, all these complicated terms you hear online, standard operating procedures, workflow automation, they aren't actually that complicated. Let's get started. Kicking things off, this is level 1, the chaos zone. That means when you're starting a business, you are the business. You are doing everything, which means if someone emails you about your services, that means you open the email, you read the email, you respond to them, you follow up with them, you send them an invoice, you follow up with them again. You have to do all these manual things yourself, which is a problem because what if you get 5 emails a day about your service? What if you get 10? What if you get 100? Then you won't be able to handle all of them. You might need a couple of days to fulfill that and to respond to all these emails. And that becomes a problem because that gets really overwhelming over time. You can't take time off because if you do that, if you stop doing the things, then your business stops growing and it stops moving forward. And that is a problem. So this is the reality of most service businesses right now, which is sad, but there is a solution to that. Just to show you what a system actually is, just to get that basic understanding, a system is basically you have an input, then you have a process, and then you have an output. All a system is just input, process, and output, plus you have feedback and environment, but the basic thing is just input, process, and output. Which means if you understand this, you can see the tasks that you're doing in a different lens. This is the lens of the systems thinker. Because once you can think in systems and you can see input, process, output, systemizing your business will become really easy because you know what the input is, what the process is, like what has to be done, and the output. And then you just need to write that down and put it into software, which we'll talk about later in this video. This is how systems work, basically. The key constraints of this is though, your business can only grow as much as your time allows. It's way slower and everything lives in your head. This is also such a big thing. If everything lives in your head, all the knowledge you have and all the processes that you have in your business, if they live in your head, things will get very messy. If you don't have written down all of your processes, you will eventually forget things. If you started to hire someone, they won't know how to do it. You have to spend weeks handling their mistakes and training them. You will eventually forget things and things will be very, very messy. So let's get to level 2, which is documented systems. Now you don't think about what to do anymore. You see what you need to do. You have written down all your process step by step, step 1, 2, 3, 4, and you know exactly what to do. So if you hire someone, which you will eventually do, this will become extremely important. This is what people call standard operating procedures or SOPs, which is just basically an instruction for someone to do something. It's just that. It's nothing else. It's just an instruction to do something. The clearer that is, the easier you'll make it for them. Let me give you an example. If you hire someone to handle your onboarding system, what are they gonna do? Maybe you jump on a call with them, tell them, oh yeah, do this, this, and this, and then they go on and do it. But it's the same thing as we had in level 1. You will eventually forget things. I can almost guarantee you that if you hire someone to do it and you don't give them an SOP where each step is laid out and has a clear step-by-step process on how to do something, then you will have a very messy business, you will have very messy processes, and things will break. But here's the thing, even if you have these documented processes, you have an input, you have a documented process, not just some process, you have a step-by-step process that produces an output, there's still a human in the loop who has to execute on these steps, which is one of the key constraints of level 1. But this is already so much better than level 1, and this is a necessary step in order to get to level 3, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But the key constraints at this level is that you have a lot of trial and error, and you still need a human to execute it. A lot of trial and error means that you have to follow these processes process. You have to look at the output, you have to look at the feedback, and then improve the input again. So you have to over time improve it, because let me give you an example. When I created my content system, I looked at the input. What is the input? The input is ideas from YouTube. It could be my own knowledge. It could be ideas I saw somewhere, ideas I connected. Basically, it's an idea, right? And then you have a step-by-step process, right? The hook. Find something shocking about the idea, or find out how to trigger curiosity. Then write the body, write the CTA. And then you need to schedule the post, and you need to edit the post, and so on. You posted it on social media. That means you get feedback from the market on how good your post is. If your post goes viral, you'll have good feedback, and that means people like it. If your post doesn't go viral and it doesn't get likes or comments, then you get feedback, but that feedback is not that good, because you know that it didn't resonate, people didn't like it. So whatever you do in a system, you will always have feedback, and you will use that in order to improve the input and improve the process in order to get a better output. In simple words, if you just post something, get feedback, and you just improve your idea next time, and you improve the post, and you post it again, and you go back to that process of improving and iterating. This is a key part of systems. The iteration principle is the key behind all skills, all great things that you can see online. If you see someone going super viral and generating tons of money, it's just the product of constant iteration over a long period of time. This requires still a lot of manual work. We have another level called level 3. Now, before going to this, which is automated systems, I want to say that you don't want to always get to level 3 with some of the processes that you have in your business or systems that you have, because some systems aren't worth automating. Because the thing is, you can automate pretty much everything right now. You can automate so much. Like, it is insane how much you can automate, but not everything is worth automating. Things like content, I don't automate this. I still write it myself and I get the ideas myself. But some things like, for example, contract creation or invoicing or something like customer support can be automated. And I'm going to show you how in a second. But what automated systems really means is that you have this standard operating procedure and you have this step-by-step process. Now you add automation to it, which means you replace the human that is in the loop in here. Let me show you that. You replace that human with a software, which means you give it to something like N8N or Make.com or Zapier, and you let it do the thing that a human would normally do. So that is what automated systems is. The way I think about automating things is that if it requires your brain to do something, if you do it like 1 to 3 times a week, I don't usually automate things that I do like once a month, once in a quarter, once in a year, because that's just not worth it. You have to go through a lot of, it depends of course how long the time takes you. If it takes you 20 hours, it may be worth automating. But if it doesn't require my brain, I do it often, and it doesn't require my hands, then I will automate it. For example, I automated my client onboarding. The level 1 was you manually email new clients, ask for information, send them documents, set up their account, and add them to your system. It takes 45 minutes per client. That was me in the beginning. That was absolutely horrible because that wasted a lot of time, and I just forgot so many things. It was horrible. When I started onboarding a client, I forgot so many things. I watched a video on YouTube on how onboarding works, the best onboarding system. Instead of writing it down, I just tried to memorize it, and I forgot so many things, and my onboarding was so messy and wasn't really working. A level 2 is you create an SOP that says send welcome email using template A, send intake form using link B, wait for a response, manually create account, send credentials, and you or your assistants follow the checklist. This is so much better than level 1, but it still requires a human in the loop, which either wastes your time or your assistant's time, because this can be automated really easily. Level 3 would be automated. New client fills out the form, which automatically creates their account, sends them login credentials, adds them to your CRM, creates a Slack channel for them, and sends you a notification. Happens in 30 seconds, zero human involvement. This is the evolution of automation and the different levels. I hope this example makes it clear, because it's important that you recognize these levels, these systems in your business and at what level you are at. Then once you determine what level you're at, which for most business owners will be level 1, you try to level up to level 2, you create an SOP, or you just write down the process. You don't even need to create an SOP. You don't need to create an instruction for someone else to do something. You just need to write down the process. You can even draw it. The thing I love to do is just drawing my processes out, like doing this, like if a decision is there, I just do this and say yes, no. And this is how I start all of my automations. I draw it out and visualize it first before actually creating it, because that will make everything so much better. Example 2 would be invoice collection. That is something so many people should be automating, because that doesn't require your brain. You probably do it often and it doesn't require your hands. So level 1 would be you send invoices whenever you remember, manually follow up when people don't pay, and stress about cash flow. Especially the follow-up thing. This is something I forgot so many times, is that I just sat there and I was wondering when will the client finally pay, and oh, I didn't follow up in 4 days, that's why he didn't pay. And it's just, I forgot it so many times. Level 2 would be you have the process, send invoice on the 1st, follow up on the 8th, if unpaid, final notice on the 15th, pause service on the 20th. This doesn't have to be with dates. You can just do after 1 day, after 3 days, after 4 days, whatever you want. And level 3 would be your invoicing software automatically sends invoices on the 1st, payment reminders on the 8th, final notices on the 15th, and notifies you if an account needs to be paused, and you never think about it. Because what you did here is you have this same process that you documented in level 2, but you gave it to a software, which is so good. This is what I love about technology. You can just give it to a software and it does it for you, which is absolutely amazing. And the last example I have for you is customer support. Level 1, every question comes to you. Where's my order? How do I reset my password? Can I get a refund? You answer the same question 50 times a week. And level 2 would be you create an FAQ document and response templates. Your support person follows the documented answers for common questions, and you set up a chatbot that answers the top 20 questions instantly. Complex questions get routed to a human automatically. You create a self-service help center. 80% of questions get resolved without human involvement. That is what is so beautiful about this. I know some businesses where they just want to stay at level 2. I spoke with someone recently where they don't want to automate customer support. But whatever you do, you want to go from level 1 to level 2 as fast as possible and as soon as possible. That won't only give you clarity on your process, that will help you iterate, actually improve your processes and systems. If you don't write them down, they won't get improved. You won't be able to iterate correctly and improve your processes correctly. So whatever you do, if you just take one thing of this video, just know that you want to go from level 1 to level 2 as fast as possible, and you want to document every single process that you want to get better in, and that you don't want to forget how to do, and that you want to help others do in your business. Now, if you're sitting here watching this and thinking, oh, I don't have time to build all these automations myself, no worries. This is what I do at Miso AI Solutions. We help businesses build out these automations, and I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to work with us. You can book a call down below, and see you there. All right, lastly, I wanted to show you some mistakes I made, because these were really cruel and was really bad figuring them out myself, but I want to save you that time and save you that effort. So number 1, automating chaos. I touched on this a bit, but you never want to automate chaos. People try to go from level 1 that we have right here to level 3, which is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. If you don't go to level 2 first of documenting the process, you'll automate mess. And you know what? This mess, if you automate this, compounds, and you don't want mess compounding in your business. That is one of the worst things that can happen to your business. If something bad that is in your business, which can be mess, can be some bad process you have, some bad system you have, some broken system, you don't want it to compound and get bigger in your business, which you enable with automation, which is bad. You want to automate, the good things to compound in your business, which is why automation is so powerful. But only if you have the right systems that are documented and you know exactly what the system should look like. And number two is over documenting. It's pretty much over documenting. I saw so many people writing 50-page SOPs. No one reads that. No one reads that. If you give that to an assistant, this system will probably go to ChatGPT, tell it to summarize this SOP for me and step by step what I need to do, and it will give it in 1 page instead of 50. Or just creating way too complex automations. I get that a lot of people try to impress, and honestly, this is impressive. If you show someone like a really big workflow, I'm like, oh damn. First of all, I'm thinking, how the fuck do you want to execute this? How the fuck do you want to keep this from breaking? But also, like, this is necessary for most of the time. Unless you have really complex process that you want to automate that has a lot of different steps, you don't need this. Most of the time, what you can do is you can put a trigger, you can put an AI agent that has a model, that has a tool or different tools that it needs, and it executes whatever you need to do. And then you have somewhere to log it. That's it. Most of the automations I do, most of the automations that look like this can be boiled down to this if you give the agent some tools. So that's what I wanted to make clear. Just don't over document, don't do too much, because that will ruin everything and that will create even more mess than you had before. And number three is automating everything. When I heard of the idea of automation, I was like, oh damn, I want to automate this and this and this and this and this and this, just like this person. But this is wrong, because if you want to automate everything, and first of all, there are two sides of this. You want to automate everything, which is not good because you don't want to automate everything in your business. I know some people saying automate your entire business, let it completely run without you, and just do nothing, scroll on social media all day and your business runs itself. This is just simply not possible. And if you're a service-based business owner, you know that. So you want to do this. You want to focus on one automation at a time and just automate your business one by one, step by step, system by system, and don't try to do everything at once. All right, so what I want you to do is pick one process and just document it, go to level 2 and then go to level 3 and automate it. If you found this useful, feel free to share it with your friends and let me know down in the comments what system you will document first, and I'll see you in the next one.